Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Jackie and let's get started. For DIY number 1, I'm going to begin with one of these new Dollar Tree wood rounds. This one is for Easter and it's a beautiful tulip. I love tulips. And it's a wood round surrounded with half beads, half wood beads. And I'm going to go in with the Waverly chalk paint in the color Snow White, give it a full coverage. Now I'm going to go in with these beautiful brand new napkins from the Spring Fling collection. And I'm absolutely loving this pattern with the pinkish flowers. And I'm going to take this down to 1 ply because we're going to do some decoupaging with some Mod Podge. And I'm just using the matte. It's probably my favorite Mod Podge. So I'm just taking this brush and I'm just going to add some Mod Podge and allow this to dry. This is nice and dry now. Now I'm going to position my napkin where I want it. And I'm going to use my mini easy press, or you could use any iron that has no steam. And do this. And go ahead and iron it and activate the glue, the adhesive of the Mod Podge. And it'll stick perfectly with no wrinkles. And I'm just going to take my scissors and snip off the excess napkin, because I want to try to remove the excess with my lighter, but I run into a little problem and you guys will see the whole thing. So here I'm just making sure all the edges are nice and adhered. So here's my lighter and here I go. Took a little while to click, click, click. And here goes the flame. It's contouring to my tulip. And here, click, click, click. Finally, I get it to go again. And guess what? That is it. I am out of lighter fluid. I cannot finish this project the way I wanted to, so I had to go to plan B, and that is my finger sander. So I'm just taking my finger sander to remove the excess napkin paper like this, and I just keep going around until I get it all removed. And just like this, look at this, now you can see the beautiful tulip, and I'm just taking a dry brush to remove any excess dust or soot from the burning. So now I'm going to go back in with my chalk paint in the color Snow White to do some touch-ups. And now I'm taking some of this Tim Holtz Distressing ink and my distressing applicator to distress my little tulip, because the burning of the napkin paper would have made that effect, but since that didn't work for me, I had to go to some distressing ink, and it worked just fine. Look at that, super cute. So now I'm going to go back in and seal the whole thing, the whole tulip, with my Mod Podge, just to get it sealed, and that way it's nice and protected. And I do the whole thing, of course. And once this dries, just to make sure that everything is nice and beautiful and wrinkle free, I go back in with my mini iron, my mini easy press, and make sure everything's nice and beautiful. So like this. Now since it has the other layer of Mod Podge on the top, then we have to wait until this cools down before you can remove this parchment paper. So there it is, nice and cool. So now I'm going to go ahead and use my applicator again, and I'm going to distress the half beads just to give it that uniform look with the tulip. I thought that would be really cute, so I'm going to leave it like that. Now I'm realizing I'm not liking that little hole in the top, so I have another wood bead that kind of goes with these, and I just went ahead and adhered it. And I went ahead and added the paint, and now distressed that as well. So now it's complete. Set that aside. Now I'm going to take another wood round. This one is also from the Dollar Tree. This one doesn't have any decor on it, it's just plain, and I'm going to go in with the Waverly chalk paint in the color Snow White again, and now I'm going to give it a layer of the Mod Podge, allow that to dry. In the meantime, I am taking one of these beautiful doilies. These are the paper doilies from the Dollar Tree. I'm taking one of the big ones and I'm putting the rest away. Now I'm going to take my parchment paper and set my doily on top. I realized I had 2 on here. Take it down to 1, and I'm going to add my Mod Podge to this doily, and I'm going to saturate this whole piece with it. And I don't normally show this much of a step, but I wanted you guys to see that I just go from the middle and go straight down, paying the most attention to the lacy portion of the doily. Now we set this aside to dry. Now here it is, nice and dry. Now it's time to remove the doily from the parchment paper, and this is going to take a little bit of patience because it's kind of sticking, but since it is parchment paper, it will come off. You just have to be a little patient. And I've realized turning it over like this was the easiest way to remove the doily from the parchment paper, like this. Now somehow I didn't film this portion, but all I did was take my wood round that had the Mod Podge and I placed some more of the napkin paper and then the doily that had the Mod Podge on top of that, and some more of the parchment paper to adhere everything together with my mini easy press and activate all the Mod Podge on all the layers. So that's the wood round, some more of the napkin paper, and the doily, all getting fused together with the mini easy press and the parchment paper. And of course allow this to cool down before removing the parchment paper. So here I'm taking my finger sander to sand off all the excess paper. Now I'm going to place my wood round that has the tulip, and I'm just going to add some hot glue and adhere this to the very center of my second wood round. And I'm loving the effect of the green behind the doily. I think that's just a beautiful effect. Gives it another layer of interest and texture. Now here I'm going to go ahead and do some more of the distressing with my applicator and my Tim Holtz distressing ink, just to give it that additional dimension. And now I'm going to use some boxwood. This one's from Walmart. Dollar Tree does have boxwood, but I ran out, so I'm just having to use this one. And I went ahead and went all the way around my wood round, and now I'm just going to finish off this edge with some of this white nylon cotton blend string. And I'm just going to adhere it with some hot glue and go all the way around, and that is it. I think this came out super cute. This is how it looks, and a closer look at the final reveal. For DIY number 2, I'm going to use one of these new bunny decor pieces from the Dollar Tree, and you may think that they've had these before. This one has a pretty vivid wood grain to it, and I'm also going to use 2 of these smaller ones. These little bunnies have been around for a while, and I went ahead and painted little bunnies with the Waverly chalk paint in the color Snow White. And now I'm going to give them both a layer of Mod Podge, allow that to dry, and you guessed it, we're going to add some more of this beautiful napkin paper. I think it's just beautiful. And I'm going to activate the adhesive again with my mini easy press. On this one I'm not using any parchment paper, not yet, not until I add the parchment paper on the top to seal it. And I actually don't show that part, but I do that. So here I'm just making sure all the edges are done, and now I'm going to take my paintbrush and a little bit of water, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the excess with this paintbrush and water. It's the easiest way to actually remove tissue paper and napkin paper. You just tear it off real easily, and it's pretty perfect every time. So that's another trick. I don't know if you guys have ever done that. So just remove that like this, and then the rest of it I'll go ahead and remove the edges with my finger sander, my old trusty finger sander, in this manner until they look like this. Super cute. Now just go ahead and adhere these to the side of the bunny. Now I'm taking one of these new garlands from the Dollar Tree. Oh my goodness, this is so pretty. This is also from the Spring Fling collection. And I'm going to use 2 of the pink flowers and 1 of the yellow flowers to give it a little bit of decor around its neck. I wanted to put it on his or her little head, but the flower's a little bit large, so I just went around the neck like this. Give it like a little, I don't know, a little collar, and add some of these felt leaves that came with it. So basically I kind of deconstructed the garland. So here I was thinking about putting one on the top, but I changed my mind. So just adding a few more of these felt little leaves. Now this garland brought one purple, kind of like a fluffy flower, and I thought it resembled a tail, like a bunny tail, kind of a long bunny tail. So we're going to use it for a bunny tail. Kind of long, but hey, we're going to go with it. And it's got a flat bottom to it, so just add some glue and put it on his little tail like this. Look, that's unique, right? I thought it was cute. So now I'm taking some of the jute twine that came off of this garland to create a couple little bows. And I'm just going to place these on the little bunnies for the little necks like this. So yeah, this got to use up what we can from our little packet. And they're just little shoelace bows. That's it. Super cute. Add a little dab of glue and place it on their little necks like this. So now for the top, those 2 holes, I'm going to use one of these other garlands that they have, brand new from the Spring Fling collection. And this one has pom-poms. I don't want to use the blue, I think the blue one. I didn't want to use the blue one because I don't have anything blue on this bunny. So I'm just going to snip off some of this cord, and I'm going to use just a yellow, a pink, although the pink's a little bit brighter than what I'm using, but a little bit of a pink, a purple, and a green. And I'm just going to add a little dab of glue to the end of this cord because it was fraying and I need it to go into this hole easily. Once I have it on there, I'll just do a nice double knot to secure it, remove the excess on the front, and do the same thing to the other side. Add a little dab of glue, wait for it to cool a little bit. Now just kind of roll it with my fingers, get it sharp like a makeshift needle, and I'm just going to do a double knot and remove the excess on the end which has the glue, like this. I have a little hanger. Look how cute. This is how it looks, and then closer look at the final reveal. For DIY number 3, I'm going to take one of these new hanging metal decor pieces, and I'm just going to take some more of this napkin. I'm loving this napkin, guys. What can I say? And you guessed it, we are going to do some more decoupaging. So I'm just going to add some Mod Podge to this piece. Now this one here, I don't wait for it to dry. I go ahead and add my napkin paper to the top or to the front of this piece, and I'm not going to be too careful. I'm not even going to worry if I get some wrinkles because I do have a trick up my sleeve. So here I'm just going to do the back as well, add some Mod Podge, and I'm just going to simply wrap the rest of this napkin paper around this piece, and I go ahead and seal it up with some more Mod Podge. Now for this excess, I was going to snip it off, but I'm going to do the wet brush method to remove the excess. I kind of prefer it. It kind of removes it a little bit better, a little bit easier, especially in those tight little spots that is hard to remove. Now for the excess, I will kind of push down inside, and that way it'll have a clean front. And I'll add some Mod Podge to get everything nice and adhered. And I also go over the front to seal it all up. And again, like I mentioned, I'm not going to be all careful about getting any wrinkles, and I do end up getting some wrinkles, but I'll show you how to fix that. So here it is, nice and dry. Yeah, there's some wrinkles. So I'm just going to take my parchment paper and my mini easy press and smooth those wrinkles away. Oh, how I wish we could do that in real life. But yes, that's the trick. That's all it takes. Now again, since the Mod Podge is on the outside, then you do have to wait for the parchment paper to cool down, and since this is metal, it's going to take a little while for it to cool down. But once it's cooled down, you just remove the parchment paper easily, and look at that. Wrinkle free. Yes. Okay, so now I'm going to do the back as well real quick to show you guys the same thing. It works wonderfully. Takes all the wrinkles away. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So wish we could do that for ourselves here. Oh. Okay, so now that it's nice and smoothed out, oh, I do the sides as well. Do the sides. I do the whole piece. I just want to make sure it's looking cute. Just gotta wait for that to cool down before removing the parchment paper. Don't want to peel anything off. Now I'm going to go in with some of the Waverly Antique Wax, and I'm using a craft clip with a baby wipe that's already dry, and I'm just going to antique this whole piece, give it a nice distressed look. I want everything to be cohesive and look super cute. I even tried to do the handle. The handle was a little bit more difficult, but only because it doesn't really have anything to hang on to, but I did it anyway. Yeah, why not? So now I'm just going to add a little bit of this floral foam on the inside of my container, and I'm going to add a little bit more hot glue to get everything nice and anchored inside. And now I'm going to go in with some of these pretty German statice flowers. I think the flowers are really pretty. The blooms, they are beautiful. And I'm just going to snip them apart with my EMT shears, and I'm just going to place all my blooms inside in this manner. And look how pretty. These blooms are so gorgeous. And once I get them all in my little container, then I'm going to take some of this burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to snip off enough to place around the top of the planter in this manner. And I'll just add it with a little bit of hot glue, and I'll use my silicone spatula so I don't burn my fingers, because you know these burlap ribbons are pretty thin. And safety first, guys. Always safety first. Hold it down till it sets. And now we can continue and create a nice big bow to go on the front. So I'm just taking a nice long piece, and I'm going to snip off what I need and create a quick bow with a little piece of jute twine in the center like this. And I'll go ahead and tie a nice double knot so it's nice and secure. Try to make it as tight as possible. It just makes the bow a little bit more cute. And I'm going to dovetail the ends, of course. So we have to dovetail these ends. And add a dab of glue and place my bow in the center. Now I wanted to add something to the center of the bow, and I found a little tiny pink flower, and just to go with the bottom part of the planter, I just added that for a pop of color. And at the Dollar Tree, I also found one of these cute little galvanized metal watering cans, so you know I had to use that. So I'm going to use my Waverly Antique Wax to give that a little bit of distressing, like I did everything else. Got to make it look like it's been rusted out in the garden, especially where the water would be hitting, like this. And now I'm going to need to bend the stake a little bit, that way the can looks like it's watering my flowers. So I'm just trying to figure out the best way to bend it. Finally I figure it's going to be like this. And this is how it looks, and the closer look at the final reveal. For DIY number 4, I'm going to use one of these wooden trays. This is not new from the Dollar Tree. This has been around for a while, but everything else is pretty much new. And speaking of new, one of these pretty nice sized birdhouses, and this pack of garden embellishments, and this pack of garden fence panels with flowers. And I'm going to go in with the Waverly chalk pen in the color Snow White again, give everything a nice complete coat. Now here we go, another one of these napkins. Guys, I love this napkin. What can I say? So now I want to put some of this napkin around the sides of this tray and the rooftop of the little house. So I go ahead and add my Mod Podge and allow that to dry. Now here it's nice and dry. I did cut out some strips this time just to make everything a little bit easier. And I'm just going to place these strips on the sides of this tray and taking my mini easy press and adhering this whole piece down, activating all the Mod Podge again, and I do this to the whole outside portion of this tray, like this. And we'll do the same thing to the birdhouse with the rooftop. So allow that to cool for a minute. Now here are my pieces for the roof. I decided to add this piece on one side. I really like the flowers on this napkin. I think it's just beautiful. And here's the other side, and adhere it with the mini easy press. And now once everything's cool, I will take my finger sander and sand off all the excess paper like this. It just comes off so easily, just shears right off. It's fantastic. As well as this piece here that's kind of an odd piece, and the little tiny pieces on the top edge comes off beautifully. Look at that. And I'll do the same thing to the rooftop, and I will seal everything with the Mod Podge. So here it is. Here's the rooftop getting this little trim off all the pieces that need to come off this top. Comes off so easily. And then I don't show adding the Mod Podge, but of course I do seal it with Mod Podge. And I go ahead and use my mini easy press and some parchment paper to make sure we don't have any wrinkles afterwards, because that's usually when you find the wrinkles. So here it is. I'm just going to go ahead and use my mini easy press again, and once it's nice and cool, then I'll remove the parchment paper, because again, the parchment paper is now touching the adhesive of the Mod Podge. So you have to let it cool, or else you may rip off all your beautiful work, and you don't want to rip it off, of course. So see how easily it comes off when it's nice and cool. And now it's ready to start decorating. So now we're going to use a little bit of floral foam, and not necessarily for any florals per se, but it's going to be mostly for height for the inside of this tray. It's a little bit too deep for what I want. So here I'm just going to cut this down with this multi-tool from the Dollar Tree, and go ahead and shear off some of these pieces. And I do go ahead and add some hot glue to adhere it all together. And again, like I mentioned, this is for height. So if you want, you can always add maybe some wood or some cardboard or something else if you don't want to use your floral foam for this. But I just went ahead and used it. These were just random excess pieces that I had on hand, so I thought, why not? So now I'm going to cover this with some of these pieces of moss sheets. And I'm just going to add some hot glue to place them down in this manner, and these happen to fit almost perfectly. I just had to trim this one just a tiny little bit, but for the most part fit pretty perfectly in this tray. I was pretty happy. So just like this, now I'm going to take my little birdhouse and I'm going to adhere it with some hot glue. And I also found these really cute mini pots, flower pots, so I had to paint those white. Now I'm going to take all these pieces that I painted white, and I'm going to distress it all with some of the Waverly Antique Wax and the baby wipe with my clip, my craft clip. And I'm just going to go ahead and distress all these pieces, and I do the front and the back, and I just end up choosing which are my favorites. Some were a little bit too heavy, but some were just perfect. So I just went ahead and distressed it all. I just played some music and just had at it. I just had at it. And I didn't show it, but I also did distress the little birdhouse after it was already adhered to my tray. It was an afterthought. I don't know why I didn't think about it, but I got it distressed. So right here I'm almost done with these pieces. And so now I'm going to start to add these pieces onto my tray. And I didn't film this whole portion because this took me a while to figure out how I wanted it. So yeah, it took a while. But look, this is how it looks. Look how cute. Oh, it's adorable. And now I decided I wanted one more dimension of texture, so I'm going to go in with some of this new floral ribbon from the Dollar Tree. It's actually not new, they had it last year, but it's out again, so I was happy to see that. So I snipped off a piece to go around my tray, and then I cut that lengthwise because it was a little thick. Now I'm just going to add a couple dabs of glue and place it on the bottom portion of my tray, and using my silicone spatula to hold it down because this has a lot of holes. Now I'm just going to take the other piece that I had snipped off when I cut it lengthwise, and I'm just going to create a nice cute little bow. And yes, it does create bows. This ribbon is pretty cute. So now I'm just going to snip off some of the tails. It's just a little bit too long, so I'll just snip them off in a straight line like this, and I just add a dab of glue and place it in the center. And now I am done. Oh my goodness, look how adorable. And this is how it looks. This is the front. This is the one side. This is the back. And this is the other side. And a closer look at the final reveal. If you're on Instagram, here's my QR code. I invite you to follow me on there. I also have a TikTok. Love you free to follow me there as well. This is my Pinterest handle. I do have a Facebook crafting group. Love for you to join there. And now we're at the final reveal. Let me know what you guys think and which one was your favorite. Well, let's take a moment and express my appreciation for you guys taking time out of your busy day to watch my video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun creating for it. And if you enjoyed it, I would appreciate a thumbs up. It would mean so much to me. And it will definitely help my channel to grow. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. And if you want to see more, definitely subscribe. And until my next video, stay healthy, safe, and strong. And have a great day. Bye-bye.